It would be hard to find a better place to race. Among the beautiful flat cornfields of Indiana is this track with huge hills that make jumps and put motocross racers to the test. And today, future stars will learn lessons from past legends at the Combine. Yes, that's Jet Lawrence on hand to help with media training for the next generation of motocross stars, Sam Nicolini from MX Sports Pro Racing, giving some social media tips as well. And we thank everyone from the U.S. Air Force's Special Warfare Division for backing this as well. It's the Amateur Scouting Moto Combine. And over lunch, riding tips from pros like Michael Byrne.
That's your overalls, and the next one is your splits, and the next one is your ideals. Obviously, Chance was fastest in the last section, but all you guys are giving up over a second to him like he's getting over a second just in this last sector, which is from this, just from there to there. And that's pretty straightforward as far as sections go. One little bounce here, and then it bounces you a little bit into the finish line, and then you pop up on the finish line. And then this is a long straightaway here. So you get this clean, it'll reward you all the way down here, okay? So that's super important. And that's the important thing with qualifying, is just giving that max effort for a very short period of time, This next one, maybe if the track's not as fast, then you can do a few more and find a rhythm and look for lines and try and execute it.
Like the final sector, the top 8 are all within in the same second.
Here to here.
Yeah, from here all the way over the switchbacks, the big table, and then all the way over to the where everybody's kind of hating that one section.
I was butchering that. That's the second.
Yeah, these are the 2 turns you said you butchered on your good lap. I think that watching, you get too greedy. Maybe you make a mistake here, and then you try to make up the time here, and then almost every lap you were getting kicked, like it was hard for you to get this turn. You got it decent, but it was like you can slow up, and I think actually make it easier on you, and the time maybe even improve. Like the beginning, it's all nice and smooth, so you can kind of go anywhere, and then as the line develops, you have to start respecting the line a little more and getting, like you said, don't get in there too hot, because then it wants to do that. And it's so deep, and it remains deep because they dig it for every start. So if you make the mistake there, you pay the price all the way up into turn 2.
So I would say the meat of the track is segment 2 and 3, if you want me to be honest.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit. Actually, segment 4, it looks like the difference is the biggest. So between first and last there. So that means this is crucial. This segment means more than segment 1 does. I think you're a half second off on segment 2 to first. For instance, here, you're 1 second off in segment 4. So really, to me, that gives you proof on that you maybe need to just be better in segment 4 more than you do in 2. I can explain this corner. I'll just draw that section because I know it. So here's that jump, here's the tabletop back down. This is the most important part of the turn. You guys need to be collected here. You need to have control of the bike, get off the brake, regroup, and the goal is to be back on the gas here. Not rush to here and then try to get the most out of the bike here. So if you can maintain that constant momentum through here, it's less fight, less work, and easier for you guys to carry that momentum. Not rushing will help that, and then getting on the gas a little earlier actually helps you more than you think it will. So if you're struggling with a turn, think about this. And it might take you guys a little bit to practice this and get good at it, but if you watch the guys winning right now, that's what they're doing. It might not look like it, but that's what they're doing.
Let's check in with Kawasaki's Drew Adams and Honda's Chance Hymas on the day.
This is actually my first time here at Ironman. I really like it. It's probably going to end up getting pretty rough today, and I'm looking forward to racing.
I'm going to clean them out.
No, I'm going to get the whole shot and win the whole 30 minutes.
We both train at the 83 compound together, so during the week we're out here just banging bars, you know. Whereas it's the only race of the year that we get actually timed, where you have to be there at a certain time. So this, where you have to qualify on time and then you have to do the race on time. It's pretty cool. It's a little bit different for all of us. I mean, turns into a long day, but I mean, that's what you got to do when you go pro. So it's sick that they're doing this for us.
The event's completely different from Loretta's. You have just everything's really sorted out and everything's by time. So I like that. It's really organized, but it's super stacked because it was like everybody were the same age. We rode 50s together, but then we got on big bikes. Everybody kind of split up into different classes, and this puts the best of the best back together, and you can really see where you're at.
My name's Logan Best. We're here at the Moto Combine. I would say that the one challenging thing so far is definitely the schedule, having to like go really quickly and be places. The other thing would probably be, I mean, the motos are longer. Moving from the 125 to the 250, it's obviously a lot heavier, 4-stroke, so engine braking comes into account, but I think with only 6 days on the bike, we're not doing bad.
First qualifier, you're trying to get that good banker lap in while the track's pretty smooth. For the second one, it's going to be more of a race condition, so still trying to get that clear track so they can execute their best lap that they can. You know, it's only 10 minutes, so it's really important to just execute a game plan, have a game plan. You know, don't just go out there and be like, oh, I'm going to get a fast lap. I mean, because a lot of things can happen with yellow flags or people getting in your way. So this time it's just trying to execute the plan that we came up with and see what happens.
Even this one, you couldn't even go through that.
No, it was so bad. So it should be better now. We dropped the forks down in the clamps and then went back to 106.
Yeah, you should be good, man.
Should be good.
I
now.
wouldn't even stress because even your times are still good with.
Yeah.
On it. I mean, they weren't the best, but you were also dead. You were in the middle of the pack.
Yeah, for sure. So
Because what gate pick do you have? 16 or something? 15?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you could be inside the box, that would be ideal. I kind of like these two, to be honest.
Not bad, yeah.
I like if you could kick that and make it flat. I actually don't mind that.
Yeah.
There's Chase Sexton checking out the action. Racing the day before the pros has its perks, and we'll drop the gate with the amateurs when we return. It's time, the Amateur Scouting Moto Combine at Ironman Raceway, presented by the U.S. Air Force Special Warfare Division. The next generation of motocross stars getting a chance to race on a pro track with pro trainers and coaches. And let's see how they do. Chance Hymas on the 21 Honda thought he was going to lead them in. But I think that's Logan Best. And Best, we talked to him earlier in the show, just making the transition off a Yamaha YZ125 two-stroke. Now on to the 250Fs. Oh, and Hymas gets a big kick with that bump on the inside. And you can see how rough and rutted this track is. And that's exactly why we run this event. And it cost Hymas. He's coughed up the number 2 spot. Now trying to come back to the Godzilla uphill jump. You see the line at the bottom. That is what the traditional amateur track at Ironman Raceway would use. But we're letting the kids run the full layout. Also got Evan Ferry. He's the other Yamaha up there battling right now with Best and Hymas. Hymas on the outside. Ferry trying to get him. Runs him wide. Now Ferry going to go for the lead. Ferry on the NSA Factory Yamaha amateur team. And now Hymas through the back section of the course emerges with the lead. And I think Best has had a problem. There is Ferry in second. And it looks like Preston Baseflug on the green Monster Kawasaki up to 4th. And in our last combine back at Redbud a couple of months ago, Hayden Deegan won it in dominant fashion. And Deegan has chosen now to graduate and race the pro race here this weekend. Hymas had a disappointing weekend at Redbud with a ton of crashes. He's on the revenge tour right now as he gets away from Ferry. Best under all sorts of pressure right now. Oh, and a mistake from Base Flug. Yet another NSA Yamaha. That's Avery Long in the mix. So we have 3 Yamahas with Best, Ferry, Long, and then the green machine of Base Flug. And then up front is the Honda of Hymas. And you got to wonder if Hymas will be back. We have another combine scheduled for next weekend in California. Oh, Hymas! He goes down. And that's what it's all about. This track might be the most rutted on the Pro Motocross calendar. And Ferry now takes the lead. Big moment here. Can Ferry handle the pressure of running up front? Can Hymas recover? And it looks like he has. Able to put Ferry back behind him on this rough racetrack. Remember Brock Tickle earlier saying easing in and then out of the corner. That's exactly what Hymas just did right there. It's so tempting to want to accelerate for as long as you can and then slam on the brakes at the last second and then immediately get back on the gas to bring your speed back up, but that upsets the bike and the suspension. Very difficult in these ruts and bumps. So a lot of times what they preach is what they call roll speed. One constant speed, less gas, less brake, and just maintain one constant speed around those rutted corners. First look today at Dax Bennick, the long, lanky kid on the 241 KTM. Also, Mark Fenice, who was up front at our combine at Redbud. Not the starts the KTM riders were hoping for in this one. It looks like Bennick has gotten around Adams. Now, Adams is a young rider out here. He was a mini cycle racer not that long ago. And that's the cool thing about the combine. You have riders with different levels of experience. This is not designed to be a race to necessarily see who's the best of the best. It's just that they can all learn. So Adams, he's about a year or two away from being at the level that Hymas, who's about to turn pro, would be, for example. So everyone's in their own race. They have their own goals. And the idea is just take as many lessons from this event from the coaches, the trainers, and of course this racetrack as possible. There's Fenice making a great move toward the front. That's Avery Long, who really opened some eyes at the Monster Energy at Loretta Lynn's National earlier this summer. Now down is that Long. Yes, it is. He was running in 4th. That's Preston Base Flug on the green Kawasaki there getting by, and I believe Bennick did as well. Hymas leads, Ferry 2nd. Fenice has climbed all the way up to 3rd. There's the pit board for Hymas. Factory Honda rider. Going to be filling the very large footsteps of the Lawrence brothers as they begin their transition into 450 class racing. He will be the next factory Honda 250 Pro. Bennick down to the inside on Base Flug. Those lines almost came together. Base Flug going to try to push. No, Bennick able to jump that tunnel from the outside and make the move. So there's Bennick. That should put him into 4th behind Fenice. There's Base Flug. Checkered flag is out. Chance Hymas wins Moto 1. And just like the pros, he'll be headed to the podium. We'll talk to our top 3. It's going to be Ferry and Fenice. Here are the rest of the results. Bennick and Base Flug, who wins a battle with his teammate Adams. He'll end up 6th. Let's send it to the podium with Rob Bidas.
Mark Finnis, number 105, once again, 3rd place. The crowd goes wild. You bring your whole hometown here.
Basically, my other family. Well, we're not really related, but we basically are.
They're the Phineas crew out there. You did some nice work out there. You were starting to reel in Evan Ferry late in the race, and I know that you're very well aware Moto 2 has a little more weight coming up soon.
Oh, yeah. That Moto, I accidentally shifted down into 1st on the gate, and so I was basically last, made some quick passes. I knew I had time, so I wasn't too worried about it, and I was in 3rd for a while, and then I started catching Ferry, but I ran out of time. But I'm not upset. Third's good.
Say hello to Evan Ferry. I know that we were doing some of the qualifying in the combines, and you were sitting back kind of playing your game, being a little bit strategic. Gate dropped. Everything changed. You actually took over the lead from Chance Hymas. We didn't see what happened. Take us through that little bit.
Oh man, you know, me and Chance, the first like 3 or 4 turns, I think we swapped the lead like 3 or 4 times. And then, yeah, you know, he got out front. You know, he definitely knows this track pretty good. So I tried to, you know, get in behind him, and I know he's got a really good pace going. So tried to kind of, you know, ride behind him, find some lines, and then he ended up going down in the turn over there. Got in front of him, and then, yeah, I don't remember really what happened. I think I just made a little mistake, a little bobble. He got back around me, but then, you know, I hang tough there for a long time right behind him. So.
Evan Ferry, part of the Golden Boys program. How about a nice big round of applause for Evan Ferry, second in Moto number 1. And let's bring up the winner of Moto number 1 on the HRC Honda. Say hello to Chance Hymas. Chance, you have a lot of experiences in these combines. You know that you come out here, it's going to be action, action, action. Today, you showed everybody that even with a mistake, you're the man to beat.
Yeah, it's just each time I come out here, there's some younger guys that come out here and have some gnarly sprint speed, so I gotta stay on my feet. But it's hard out here. It started getting hot during that moto, and I was just trying to back her off a little bit and try to make it through the rest of the moto. But me and Evan had a really good battle for about the first half of the moto. I made a dumb mistake over there and tipped over, but go back and regroup and get ready for the next moto.
Coming back is what it's all about. You have one more moto to go. Now, who you want to give a shout out to, and who is your coach?
I'd like to give a shout out to my coach, Michael Byrne. It was good to start off with the moto win, and it's good to carry some momentum into the next moto. But the whole HRC Honda crew, Monster Energy, Fly Racing, Scott Goggles, Alpine Star Boots, and my mom and dad and everyone else, thank you.
A few years ago, Hymas was a top 5 level amateur rider. He has stepped up the training program, and now he's on top. Moto 2 after this. Welcome back. It's the Amateur Moto Scouting Combine at Indiana. There's Tim Ferry working with his son, Evan. And we're ready for Moto number 2, all presented by the U.S. Air Force Special Warfare Division. See the red number 21, Chance Hymas, that's the man to beat. Won the first moto. Good start here in Moto 2. Much better start, though, for Dax Bennick on that 241. And this is what we want to see. Hymas versus Bennick. Bennick, a terrible start in the first moto. It's only top 5. Let's see if he can put some pressure on Hymas this time. And there, the number 4, Matty Jorgensen. He opened some eyes at the Monster Energy Amateur National at Loretta Lynn's this summer. And let's see what he can do against the factory-supported riders like Hymas and Bennick. So there's Jorgensen in 3rd. Jaden Clough on the 45. Julian Balmer, Noah Stevens, Evan Ferry, 2nd in Moto 1. That's the next group. And you see Hymas trying to distance himself from Bennick. And then Jorgensen, he's going to have a fight on his hands with Clough, Balmer, Stevens, and Ferry. This is going to be good to watch. And some of the coaches have told me they think the track is actually rougher today, Friday, than it will be on the pro race day because they've run a series of amateur motos. So you end up with mini cycle bumps, 85cc bumps, C and B level rider bumps, and then these kids are close to pro speed, so their lines are different and where they want to go is different, but the track is formed up and it doesn't really lend itself to the type of pace these riders want to go. So in some ways, the track more challenging today than it will be tomorrow for the actual pro motos. And that really puts these kids to the test physically. Bennick, 16 years old, out of North Carolina. Jorgensen, Balmer, Clough, Ferry. They've got around Stevens. Ferry's got a rally here to try to hold on to 2nd overall. If Balmer goes after Jorgensen, this would be for 3rd. Big air on this Ironman track, then under, and then back up top. And these rutted corners, they're the true challenge of pro motocross. That's what they're teaching the kids today. I talked a lot about it in Moto 1. It's maintaining momentum through there. There's so much time to be gained and lost with one little mistake. And now the Yamaha boys gang up. Ferry on the move. Balmer goes down. So Ferry moving further up. This is going to help his chances for the podium. There's Clough. Fanice. Fanice has moved around Stevens. So Fanice, 2 bad starts today. But again, I want to stress the different levels these riders are. I believe Bennick and Hymas, they will not be back here next year. They're going to be pro probably by next summer. Hymas for sure, Bennick most likely. So if you're any of these other riders like Fanice or Ferry, you've got to think maybe next year is your year to shine. And look at Fanice slicing and dicing his way forward again. Ferry and Fanice, they've had their battles in the amateur ranks before. This might be the same story as Moto 1. Not enough time for Fanice to get to Ferry. The start really did him in. But they could be podium overall. There's Clough and Stevens. Oh, problems for Baseflug. He looks to be out. And Hymas going to polish this one off. This kid is such a hard trainer. He'll race anytime, any place, anywhere. And it pays off. He wins both motos here at the Ironman Amateur Scouting Moto Combine. Chad Reed breaking it down. He's the coach for Bennick today. Bennick does get second in that moto. We'll see how the podium overall breaks down. There are your results. Balmer ends up out of that one. That's unfortunate. And Bennick will squeeze Fanice off the podium. Ferry second. Hymas with the win. More lessons to the kids today. Here's how to do podium interviews.
Yeah, it was really fun. Chance was in front of me. He was riding really good, and we both kind of checked out and was hitting our marks. It was a lot of fun race.
Congratulations. Who you want to give a shout out to?
The Lord Jesus Christ for keeping me safe, KTM Orange Brigade, my whole family for supporting me, Fox, Scott Goggles, and everyone else. Thank you.
Who was your coach?
Brock Tickle.
Brock Tickle's a man putting another one on the podium. Let's grab second place. Would you say hello to Evan Ferry? Came in here just kind of relaxed, no real pressure. Second moto, what happened with the start?
Oh man, I don't know. I think I just spun a little bit and then kind of wheelied and just didn't get off to a great start that time. I don't know. I was like 15th, I think, in the first turn. And then, got up there. I don't really know where I was at the whole time, honestly. And then I saw on the pit board, I had second overall wrapped up, and I was like, well, those guys are gone. So I just decided to ride her home from there.
Bad start, great finish. Now you end up on the podium, second right from the stop. One more to go at the top step. Will we see you at Paula next week?
No, you won't see me at Paula next week. I wish, man.
Man, we'd love to have you there. Tell me a little bit about your sponsors and who is your coach.
Brock Glover, he was out there and he was telling me the lines. Me, him, and my dad, we all talked and, fixed some of the lines from the first moto. The whole Danny Lewis, Ed Torrance, Jake Butler, Cole Lingle, everybody at the NSA Rock River Yamaha team, they do a lot to get me up here, and they get me off that start really good. That Dunlop tire always hooks up great. That time, I think that was just more of a mental mistake, but I got out there and, super happy to come with a second overall.
He's up here on the podium with the best three in the business. How about a nice round of applause for Evan Ferry? Folks, he did the work today to come home with the 1-1. Will you say hello to Chance Hymas? It doesn't get any better than going 1-1. You can't even say what about. That's a 1-1 here at the Combine.
Yeah, this is my fourth one, and it took me way too long to do this, and I'm stoked to come out with the win, go 1-1, and that second moto I felt really good in, and it's nice to leave here with the win.
You're adding a little bit of time to the motos over what you were as the amateur ranks. Is it starting to get a little more familiar with you, just how long the grind is?
Yeah, especially this last year when we're starting to do 30-minute motos and get used to the longer motos. But since it's my fourth one, I'm used to the schedule and all the being on time, But it's awesome that these guys are doing it, especially Christina. She's put a lot into this, and I can't thank all those guys enough.
Well, it's great to have you up here. Who is your coach and anybody you want to give a shout out to?
My coach is Michael Byrne, and I'd like to thank the whole HRC Honda crew. They've been busting their butts for me. The whole Fly Racing crew, Monster Energy, Monster Mike, Alpine Star, Christian, Pod, Scott, John Knowles, and my mom, my dad, and everyone else, my friends and family for cheering me on, and everyone else, thank you.
Congratulations, folks.
That's a wrap from Ironman Raceway. Next weekend, Pala in Southern California. For everyone at Racer TV, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching.